Hello, we are on the Real Programming channel. My name is Andrei. This is our 16th lesson. I greet you. We will talk about putting one element inside another. It's called nesting. Let's go. When we put one element inside another element, we call the nesting. We say the P element is nested inside the body element. At this point, you already seen lots of elements nested inside other elements. You put a body element inside a HTML element, a P element inside a body element, a Q element inside a P element, and so on. You also put a heat element inside the HTML element and a little element inside the heat. That's the way HTML pages get constructed. The more you learn about HTML, the more important having this nesting in your brain becomes. But no worries, before long you'll naturally think about elements this way. Q nested inside P, nested inside body, nested inside HTML. To understand the nesting relationship, draw a picture. Drawing the nesting of elements in a web page is kind of like drawing a family tree. At the top you got the great-grandparents and then all their children and grandchildren below. Here's an example. Simple web page. This is HTML is always the element at the root of the tree. HTML has two nested elements, head and body. You can call them both children of HTML. Title is nested within the head element. Let's translate this into a diagram where each element becomes a box and each there connects the element to another element that is nested within it. Body is nested within the HTML elements, so we say body is a child of the HTML. The parent of Q is P, the parent of P is body, and the parent of body is HTML. Using nesting to make sure your text works. Your first payoff for understanding how elements are nested is that you can avoid mismatching your text, and there's gonna be more payoff later. Just wait. What does mismatching your text mean and how could that happen? Take a look at this example. I'm going to tweet. I'll be show you on Sublime Text. You can download this and look on this. So far so good, but it's also easy to get sloppy and write some HTML looks more like this. Wrong. The P tag ends before the M tag. The M element is supposed to be inside the P element. Property nest your elements. Given what you know now about nesting, you know the element M element needs to be nested fully within or contained in the P element. Good. Here, P M element is nested inside the P element. Bad. Here the M element has vacant outside of the P element, which means it's not properly nested inside it. So what? It's okay to mess up your nesting if you like playing Russian roulette. If you write HTML without properly nesting your elements, your pages may work on some browsers, but not on others. By keeping nesting in mind, you can avoid mismatching your text and be sure that your HTML will work in all browsers. This is going to become even more important as we get more into industrial strange HTML in later chapters. So, exercise. Be the browser. Below you'll find an HTML file with some mismatched text in it. Your job is to play like you're the browsers and locate all the errors. After you've done the exercise, look at the end of this chapter lessons to see if you caught all the errors. So, who am I? A bunch of HTML elements in full custom or playing a party game. Who am I? They'll give you a clue. You try to guess who they are based on what they saw. Assume they always tell the truth about themselves. Fill in the blanks to the right to identify the attendees. Also, for each attendee, write down whether or not the element is inline or block. Tonight, attendees. Any of the charming HTML elements you've seen so far just made show up. Name, online, or blog. I was just creating a web page explaining everything I was learning from the book, and I wanted to mention the HTML element inside my page. Isn't that going to mess up the nesting? Do I need to put double quotes around it or something? You're right, that can cause problems because browsers use and to begin and end tags. Using them in the content of your HTML can cause problems, but HTML gives you an easy way to specify this and other special characters using a simple abbreviation called a character entity. Here's how it works. For any character that is considered special or that you'd like to use in your web page, but that may not be a typable character in your editor. Like a copyright symbol, you just look up the abbreviation and then type it into your HTML. For example, the character's abbreviation is AND GT and the characters is AND LT. So you say wanted to type the HTML element rock in your page. Using the character entities, you type this instead. The and LT point HTML and GT and element rocks. Another important special character you should know about is the and ampersand character. If you'd like to have an and in your HTML content, use the character entity and amp instead of the and character itself. So what about the copyright symbol? That's and copyright and all those other symbols and foreign characters. You can look up common ones at the URL. Slogans, my text. I think it basically, there are no dumb questions. I think it basically understands how block elements and inline elements are displayed by the browsers. But I'm totally confused about what element can go inside other element. Or, as you say, what can be nested inside of what. That's one of the hardest things to get through with HTML. This is something you're going to be learning for a few chapters and we'll show you few ways to make sure you can keep the relationship straight. But we're going to back up and talk about nesting a little more first. In fact, since you brought it up, we'll do that next. So HTML has ordered and unordered lists. Are there any other list types? Actually, there is an type definition lists. Definition lists look like this. Each item in the list has a term dt and a description add. Type this and give it a try. Barmashave was a company that made brushless shaving cream in the early part of the 20th century. They began advertising their product using roadside signs 1925. And these signs proved to be very popular. Is something somewhat distracting for drivers. The signs were grouped in batches of 4, 5 or 6 each with one line from the slogan. At one point, there were 7,000 of these signs on roadsides throughout the United States. Most are gone now, but there are still a few left and here and there. Still a few left and here and there. And this is our 16th lesson over. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Put likes, please. Share with friends. Comment. Eat bananas, chocolate, and nuts. Drink more water for the effective work of our brains. Bye.